mounting medical bills and mounting questions about whether or not I would be able to continue to live in my own home. Then this April, I was pleasantly surprised to get a call from my mortgage company. And they told me I was eligible for a mortgage modification program. Yay. The program is being offered to homeowners like me who were currently mortgaged, but whose property values had gone down because of the housing bubble. Because President Obama had taken action and encouraged lenders to adopt standards and processes across the industry, lenders like mine are able to offer millions of homeowners like me the opportunity to modify their mortgage. Within just a few weeks of that call, I had a reduced monthly payment, and I've been able to comfortably live in my home as I continue my recovery. All right. President for his commitment to homeowners like me. Our president is a true champion for the middle class. Again that he has our back. And Indianapolis now, we've got to have his. Yeah. Just one person, just one, we'll be able to build the momentum that we need to win in November. This is what the First Lady's It Takes One initiative is all about. And it's one of the many reasons that we are so excited to have her here today. Our First Lady is an inspiration for people around the country. She is fighting to build better work for our children, for our kids, and she's working to make sure that our military families get the honor and the support that they have earned. And you know, she does it with an amazing grace and class that makes us so very, very proud. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a rousing Hoosier welcome to our First Lady. will. Is that we're here. We're doing this work because of our values. Because of the values we believe in. We're doing this because of the vision for this country that we all share. We're doing this because we believe that everyone in this country should have a fair shot. Yeah.
She actually trained, were promoted up that ladder ahead of her.
Well, let me tell you what
Sort of
Barack
like she
saw
did
when he
wrong.
learned. He saw a woman who never complained. Never complained. Just kept getting up. Just kept giving her best every single day to help support their family. So what I think is important for everybody to know is that you have a president who knows what it means when a family struggles. It's not a hypothetical situation for him. He knows what it means to work hard because you simply want something better for your kids and your grandkids. And like me and like so many of you, Barack knows the American dream because he's lived it. And and you've done well. And there is nothing wrong with doing well. And when you walk through that doorway of opportunity, he knows that you don't slam it shut behind you. It's that dream, that fundamental American promise. And from now until November, we're going to need all of you out there. We're working hard, telling everyone you know, tell them about Barack's values. Make sure they understand who they have as a president. Tell them about his vision. Tell them about the choices we face in this election, because this election is all about choices. This election is a choice about our economy. It's about whether and how we build a strong and growing middle class. So I want you all to remind folks that Barack cut taxes for working families by $3,600. That's who's getting the tax. He cut taxes for small businesses 18 times. 18 times. Because what Barack understands is that rebuilding our economy starts with the restaurants and those mom and pop stores and those startups that create 2/3 of all new jobs in this economy. That's why he did it. But I also want you to remind people, give them some perspective. Because back when Barack first took office, this economy was losing an average of 750,000 jobs every single month. That's what he walked into. That's what he inherited. Sometimes we seem to forget that. That's where we started. But for the past 29 straight months, you gotta let him know he's actually been gaining private sector jobs consistently. So yes, we still have a long way to go. We have more work to do to rebuild our economy. But today, millions of people are collecting a paycheck again. Millions of people like my dad are able to pay their bills again. This election is a choice about the health of our families. Now let me give you a little more perspective on this one. The fact is that over the past century, nearly 100 years, so many of our presidents have tried and failed to meet the challenge of health care reform. People in Obama. We all know these folks. Some of them are us. The grandparents who couldn't afford their medications. The families going broke because a child got sick. The woman dying of cancer whose insurance company wouldn't cover her care. And let me tell you, it was those stories and so many more. That's what kept him going day after day. That's why he fought so hard for this historic reform. And thankfully he did, because today, because of this reform, our parents and grandparents are paying hundreds less today for their prescription drugs. Because of that reform, today, our kids can pay our insurance until they're 26 years old. And we know how important this is. Some of the young people in our lives they're getting out there in the world, they don't have to figure all that out without health care. We know what that means. Today, because of this reform, insurance companies have to cover basic preventative care at no cost. Things like contraception, cancer to your neighbors and talking to your relatives, and people ask you, well, tell me what this president has done for this country. Here's what I want you to tell them. Tell them how many jobs he's created. Tell them how much money he's put back in the pockets of American folks, working folks. And tell them that more of our kids can afford college. Tell them more of our seniors can afford their medicine. Remind folks Barack ended the war in Iraq. Remind them that he passed historic health reform. Remind them that he has stood up for our most fundamental rights again and again and again. That's what I want you to tell them. And so much more. All of it's at stake this November. It's all on the line. And that is really the choice we face. Are we going to continue the change we've begun and the progress that we've made? Are we going to just stand by and watch everything that we worked so hard for to just slip away? We know what we need to do. We cannot turn back now, not now. In this country, we need to keep moving forward. And let me tell you, over the last 3.5 years as your First Lady, I have had the chance to see up close and personal what being president looks like. See, I learned some things that I want to share with you before we go into the ballot booth. But I've seen how the issues that come across the president's desk, they don't always have harmonies. Believe me. The problems with no easy solutions. You know, the judgment calls where the stakes are so high and there is no margin for error. And I have seen that as president, you are going to get all kinds of advice, and all kinds of opinions from all kinds of people, all the time. But at the end of the day, when it comes time to make that decision, as president, truly all you have to guide you are your life experiences. And all you have to guide you are your values. Is your vision for this country. In the end, it all boils down to who you are and what you stand for. And we all know who my husband is, don't we? We all know where he stands for. And we have seen again and again just how hard he's willing to fight for us. You remember when folks in Washington told Barack to let the auto industry go under? Said, let it go. With more than 1 million jobs on the line.
That's right.
But thank goodness, Barack had the backs of American workers. And said he put his faith on the American people. And as a result, today, the auto industry is back on its feet again. Unfortunately, people are back at work again, earning a paycheck, supporting their families. And remember how Barack, there were folks telling Barack not to take on health care. You remember that? I do. They said, leave it for another day. Another president. Just keep kicking that can down the road. But Barack had the backs of American families. And as a result, today, millions of people in the United States of America can finally see a doctor when they're sick. Can get the care they need to stay healthy. So before you step into the voting booth on election day, you've got to ask yourself, who's going to stand up for me? Who's going to look out for my family? Because when it comes for the middle class, working folks, so our kids can go to college and our families can make a decent living, retire with some security. You know what my husband's going to do. You know that. We need a president to protect our most basic rights, no matter who we are or where we're from or what we look like or who we love. You know you can count on her. But I have said this before and I will keep saying it, he cannot do this alone. He needs your help. You gotta have his back. We got to know because Barack has said that this election will be even closer than the last one. That's the only guarantee. And in the end, it could all come down to those last few thousand votes. How many times have we seen that? And just think about a few thousand votes when you look at it across, when those numbers are spread out across an entire state, across hundreds of cities and thousands of precincts, those numbers start getting a little smaller. And this is how I want you to think about it. Think about the power you have in this election. Because with one new voter, that one new voter that each of you registers, that with that one neighbor that you help get to the polls on November the 6th, understand that that could be the one that makes the difference. It is that simple. That one conversation that you have, that one new volunteer you recruit, that could be the one that puts all of this over the top. That could be the difference between us waking up on November the 2nd and wondering, could we have done more, or feeling the promise of 4 more years? It's one. And that's why we launched It Takes One. It's this new initiative that is very simple, but it really emphasizes the power of democracy. Every time you take an action on behalf of this campaign to move it forward, we're just asking you to bring that one new person in. Inspire that one more person, and we all have that one person in our lives. Some of us have 10. Inspire them to do their part. So if you're making phone calls, if you're knocking on doors, bring one friend along. If you're coming to an event, bring that neighbor who's never been involved in a campaign before, never been involved in an election. When you vote early or on election day, bring one new voter along with you. That is the power of one. That one friend, that one colleague, that one person in your family. You can send them to BarackObama.com/one. It is as simple as that. And they can easily get involved. And you can get started by signing up right now. Signing up with one of our grassroots volunteers today who are here. And we need every single one of you to join in. If you just look around in this room, the people in this room, if they take this initiative to heart, just imagine what that margin of 2,000, it is gone. As Barack says, it just takes one voice to change a room, And if a voice can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change a nation. That is the power of one, so never underestimate the value of the work that you are doing on this ground, in this election, to move this country forward. It will be the difference in this election. Requires patience and lots of tenacity. But if we keep showing up, if we keep fighting the good fight, doing what we know in our hearts is eventually we get there because we always have. In this country, we always move forward. But here's the trick. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but maybe in our children's lifetimes. Yeah. Maybe in our grandchildren's lifetimes. Because hopefully, in the end, that's really why we're here. Now, that's what this is about. In the end, that's what elections are always about. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Elections are always about hope. They're about our hopes for our children. They're about the world we want to leave for our next generation. And if you detect any passion in me, let me tell you, it's because every day when I look into the eyes of my girls, that's what I think about. That's what keeps me going. I think about how I want to do for them what my dad did for me. What Barack's grandmother did for him. And I want to give my daughters, and I want to give all of our sons and daughters a real foundation for their dreams. And I want to give them opportunities worthy of their lives. Because we know that all of these kids are worthy. I don't care what persuasion you are. I don't care where you're from. We all know that our kids are worthy. They deserve the best we have to offer. I want to give our kids that sense of limitless possibility. That belief that here in America, the greatest country on the planet, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it. Yeah. So I just say to myself, we cannot turn back now. Not now. We have come so far. But we have so much more work to do. So I have to ask you, are you ready for this? Yeah. And if we do, we will definitely have 4 more years to keep moving this country forward. Thank you all.
Go, Maddie, go.